And the storm surge and the wind, we've seen so many just incredible images coming out of the south, but here in Hampton Roads, are we really going to feel impacts here?
So we have the potential.
Okay.
And that's why we have a weather alert day issued. Again, this is not to panic, folks. This is to make you aware of the threats. And we're going to talk about this. Let's start with this graphic to kind of talk about it. You can see there is a threat of isolated tornadoes and maybe some tropical downpours. Now, what's going to happen? Basically, a band or almost like an arm. Think about this. So Helene's spinning around, and I think it'll be kind of a band of precipitation that works up across our region later this afternoon, and by early evening, it'll be pulling offshore and pulling through the region. But when that comes through, there could be some isolated, heavier cells with some potential for rotation. So when we talk about the severe weather outlook, a lot of times we talk about damaging gusty winds with severe storms that there's a lot of convection. That is not the case this afternoon. While it will be a little gusty, winds could gust up around 30, maybe 35 miles per hour, but generally the wind's not too bad, just general gusty winds. There is that potential that we could see some spin-up tornadoes. And if you get one of those, it's not going to last very long, but it can do damage, kind of pop up, do its thing, and be gone. There could also be some locally heavy downpours moving through at times. None of that this morning. Our priority sky views are looking good across the areas. We check out Town Point Park. It is going to be mostly cloudy this morning. The wet weather comes in this afternoon, and that's when we'll have to monitor those cells for any signs of rotation. Tim and Hunter will be committed to doing that for you through the afternoon. Tim does an incredible job, talking about Tim Pandages, through the afternoon and evening of really diving in, and he will have you covered this afternoon until that threat is gone. Right now, the tornado watch is down to the south along the Carolina coast, South Carolina, and down into Georgia. As Bethany mentioned, they just had their tornado watch lifted, so Jacksonville in better shape. I'm expecting another tornado watch to extend a little farther north. You see this area, here's Helene, what is now a tropical storm. There will be an extension here, and this thing has already had a history of producing a few isolated tornadoes down to the south. As this moves along, we're going to see this kind of arm right here kind of develop and then wrap up through our area. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the heavy rain, and keep in mind, flooding rain, that's going to be a thing out to the west as the center of this eventually pulls back over Kentucky and Tennessee. It'll rain out there. We're talking about the next week. There could be flood-related stories to all of the heavy rain that occurs over the next few days. Takes a little while. That rain runs down and then feeds streams, it feeds rivers, and eventually I think we could have some more flooding issues across the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley into the Mississippi Valley later on down the road. Lots to watch. Some light showers this morning, nothing heavy. Most of the area is dry for the morning commute. I mentioned the potential for heavy rain. This is the flood outlook from the Weather Prediction Center, and for Hampton Roads, we just have a level 1 or marginal threat. You get out over the western part of the Piedmont, there you get to a level 2 or slight risk. Then we get into the mountains, and this is what I was talking about. This is where my concern is. Even for Virginia, there is this moderate threat, level 3. And then we get into western North Carolina, and I've been talking about Asheville all morning, the French Broad River, expecting record flooding at that river. And again, I was just there about 3-4 weeks ago. Beautiful country, fantastic to walk along the parks here along the river. That's all going to be underwater as they have a very high risk for flooding back there. So we're going to continue to watch that. Now for our area, we're going to see our chances for wet weather here coming up later this afternoon. You'll notice through noon, just a little bit of activity, nothing too bad. But as we get into the afternoon, it's going to be these isolated, stronger cells that we're going to need to watch for possible rotation. And hopefully we don't see a tremendous amount, but where you do see some of these heavier little pockets, there's at least that potential. So we want you to be prepared, and we'll, of course, let you know if anything does develop. This is at 6:30, 7 o'clock. You'll notice by 8:30, things are much improved, and after that, we're looking good as we head into the weekend. We do have a level 2 threat. So slight risk for Hampton Roads, South Side, and North Carolina on the peninsula. Hampton and the East End Newport News all included in that level 2 threat. Williamsburg, York, And areas off to the north, Middle Peninsula, Northern Neck, Eastern Shore under a level 1 threat. Rainfall amounts, you can see our model's not going crazy. Widespread up to about a ½ an inch or so. Potentially, there could be more than an inch in some areas. We do have the weather alert day through the afternoon. Temperatures today close to 80, 81 degrees, and then falling off later on. Temperatures tonight near 75. Tomorrow, good, 86. It will be warm and humid, so you'll definitely feel the heat and the mugginess. Sunday, a little cooler. Showers possible late, and then scattered wet weather Monday into Tuesday. It's got to be beautiful, though, by the end of next week.